Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. In this video, I will discuss what makes LP sound really good. And welcome back again. I'm going to, in this video, show you the secrets for what gives you the top sound. And I'm also going to actually reveal how you actually get a lot for your money. I'm just going to show you what is the wrong vision of what good LP sound is. So usually you start from the bottom, you go with these turntables here. I'm just using this as an example, not these specific brands, but you start at a lower price and then you move up and it gets more expensive, the platters get bigger, you get some better engines and all of that. The pickup gets, of course, better, the price changes a hell of a lot. But I'll tell you that it's a bit of an illusion with LP because, yes, generally the more expensive it gets, the hell of a lot better it gets. That is true. But you reach a point where there is a sort of a diminishing return, where you just get into these big, heavy platters, these long arms, and these very expensive pickups. And yes, they do make a difference, but it not a hell of a lot. So actually, let me just share with you some points here. Short and precise platter with good coupling to the motor. That is the very best way that you can save money on an LP player. Not a lot of companies make a short and precise platter with a good coupling. Most companies that make a short short platter do not have a good coupling for the motor. I only recommend basically one brand, and that's Note. They have a short platter and they have a really good several engine system, several motor system that takes care of the sound. This is the, I think this is the Model 2 signature. And this is like the Model 3 TT3. And TT3 is the best in the world together with Kronos. Now look at it. It isn't terribly big compared to the biggest ones in the world. This will still beat anything in the world. Okay? It will. You just need a good rear. Then it will do it. So forget about these giant platter 500 pounds, 1,000 pound platforms. They do a lot of good, but it's a huge amount of waste of space and money and all of that, because it's all about the coupling. Several engines, short space, really good coupling. And yes, tone arms do make a difference, but these basic tone arms that Note have, they are shorter, meaning that they are high quality because it's Note. They make everything themselves, basically. Okay, most of the things. That's what you want. You want the coupling effect. I'm going to show you why. So this is the Note 3 engine stuff. And then you've got the PSU here. That thing here, the PSU, is critical for the sound. If you have like a small transformer that costs like a buck powering a thing up like this, it will be a nightmare with the timing, the control, the grunt, the attack. It will just be like in controlling that engine. You need a really good separate power supply. Almost no brands have that. Yes, the more you go up in price, the better they get. So you need a good pickup, but the IQ3 that I talked about, I don't see a reason for getting anything better than that. That's like, I don't know, $1,000 or something like that. That could basically beat 90% of the pickups in the world, even the ones costing $10, $20, $30, $40,000. You don't need the really expensive pickups. Yes, they do give you that bit of extra thing, but you don't really need it. All you need is an IQ3 pickup. That's like the start of the really high-end pickups. Most other pickups, forget it. Okay, I wouldn't go with many of the other pickups on the market because they're biased. They're restricted in sound. Many of them are either analytical or they're shut in. They're not really in between. They give you the illusion of that it's in between with some of the models. And there are some exceptions to the rule, but in general, I would only go with the IQ3. What's really important, and what no one really is doing except for Audionote and some few other really premium top brands once in a while, is that they put good cables on it, good RCA plugs. This is very, very rare. You could have a really good setup and totally kill the sound by having a bad transfer signals with the cables and the RCA. LP/vinyl, whatever you call it, is so sensitive to the smallest vibrations, change of sound signature. It's a really finicky, hard thing to deal with at a high level. It can make anybody go mad. And getting a good rear is really difficult. Really, 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 really difficult. I have a Tube Guru rear. It's one of the better rears, but still, compared to an Audionote rear that I wish I had, it's far from that kind of quality. And there's just almost no rears on the market that are good. Standard is really, really low. And all of these couple of $1,000 rears, I mean, they do get better the more you pay for them, but no, they're generally really bad. I suggest, if you can at all, get an Audionote amplifier and get an integrated rear in that Audionote amplifier. You are solving so many problems. I could have an Audionote external rear outside of the Audionote amplifier, but people don't realize that you are missing a hell of a lot of that coupling effect if you don't have a high quality power cable that is short enough and a high quality RCA cable that is short enough. It then has to click with the amplifier, meaning that it has to be a good pairing. That can even go wrong when you're dealing with Audionote. It almost never does, but it's again negotiation. You want that signal as short as possible to really get a lot of value for your money. So what I would do typically is just go with one of the bottom level Audionote auto amps or Maishu amps. Have an integrated phono that comes with it. Just use that. Okay, you get a lot for your money. You get really top quality sound later on. 5 years when you want a bit more quality, then change the tubes. But you basically have a fantastic piece of rear that comes with the amp basically for free. So I would suggest doing that. Now, these are the rare sound characteristics of top vinyl. With top vinyl, you don't have noise, pop and crackle. You basically can't detect it. It's at such a low level. But most importantly, you have super slam and grunt. Almost no LP manufacturers can do that. And of course you have crazy depth and 3D. And really important, you have a releasing of energy, dischargeal of energy going on. And it gives you just that feeling that you cannot leave without having to take this thing home. A lot of the LP gear that I listen to is just okay, interesting, like yeah, better than CD. Yeah, oh, interesting. Yeah, doesn't have that like you have to buy it effect. I've only heard that effect with Kronos and audio notes. Forget the cheaper audio note ones. I mean, they're good. They beat most of the things on the market, but this is where top LP sound starts. Audio Note TT2 signature with IQ3 pickup. It has that motor thing that comes with it, something that looks like this. That's where you want to start when you want the what's it called, the top vinyl sound. Okay, it will beat most of the things on the market costing 2, 3, 4, 5 times more. Once in a while there will come an exotic brand which will have a really big arm and a deep platter and a good engine and all of that. But trust me, that thing is going to cost like 5-10 times more. And it will be ultra finicky getting that to work with a proper rear that matches it. And if that thing breaks, oh my god, is that going to be expensive usually. There are exceptions to the rule. I know I'm overgeneralizing, but I've listened to so much vinyl. Okay, there's like a handful of models, not brands, but models that beats audio notes in some areas, but not overall. Don't go and use your entire life looking for those models. I mean, you're gonna drive yourself insane. Vinyl at a top level, while you're trying to save money, it's just going to drive you insane. I've been on that bandwagon for a hell of a lot of years, and it can just drive you insane. Okay, just go with the safe solution. Choose something like Audio Note TT2 signature. Maybe not even the signature model. Maybe the one just below that. That's where you want to be. That's where everything is like you get the whole package. It's not the very, 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 very best, but it will get you in the top class. And it won't cost as much as many of the other brands that are in the same price category. So forget about most of the brands out there that are making vinyl. It just makes a nice, okay, interesting sound. And I don't know if I covered this before, but just most LP just is boring. Negotiating, kind of held back, safe, handbrake pulled up, overly warm on a low level. That is the key word. Overly warm on a low level. I remember getting my Fendenhull pickup back for getting it retipped. Fine, it was cheap. I got a lot of value for my money. But oh my god, do I regret having that. Because I have good equipment. I have an Audio Note amp. I got some Audio Notes high quality silver cable pull on my SCO tone arm, and I got Audio Note RCA, and I could just hear everything that was wrong with the Fendenhull way of retipping my pickup. You don't really notice these things on normal vinyl setups because everything is kind of parked in this Macintosh type of sound. It's safe. Most people like it. A lot of people find it like interesting and okay, but you want, for me, and a lot of people that I know, you want something that, just keeps you wanting more, and feel like it's endless. Like you can keep this piece of gear for 50 years, and every time you put a record on it, even the record that you've listened to 100 times, it's going to surprise you. It's going to blow you away. It's going to have that coupling effect. It's going to create that illusion as if you're listening to it for the first time. And almost no vinyl gear on the market will make you forget that you've listened to the music and that you're listening to it for the first time. Almost no gear has that effect. Really good gear makes you forget that you've listened to this soundtrack that you've just put on, this song, this record, whatever. That's what you want. That's what separates most vinyl brands from the really, really good ones. Once in a while, there is an exclusive brand at a hi-fi show that just completely blows your mind, in the same way as Kronos and Audio Note. But my experience is that it's so difficult getting a hold of that. It's so expensive. It's so really difficult pairing that with a proper RIA. So I learned after about 20 years, just stop it. Have everything in the same religion. I chose Audio Note on basically every piece of the vinyl parts as I could. What my money allowed me to do. Later, I will buy an Audio Note player, which has all the Audio Note parts, and I will have an Audio Note integrated phono section in my amp, probably because I buy another amp. That will save you so many problems. Okay, it really gets annoying with listening to vinyl on normal gear, because it's so difficult getting into that top vinyl sound without it feeling like it's completely falling apart or getting covered up in detail. Yeah, and there are also some brands that are the opposite, that are analytical. I think Plinius or something like that. Plinius Rias with bends pickups. They're like a good example of that. I mean, they get a lot of detail, right? They do a lot of good stuff. A lot of people will like that, but compare that to the best in the world, and you're like, no, forget it. That's just so far away in the Stone Age. And this is just the general impression that I get. Most things just sound okay. So do you really want to pay like a couple of $1,000 for something that's just like, okay, interesting, yeah, and then you just don't really end up using it? Or do you want to save like half a year or a year's salary and then get something that's going to last you for 50 years, or let's maybe be realistic, more like 10 or 20 years, and then you might have to get the pickup re-tipped in 5 years' time. Fine. It's probably going to cost you like $500 or something like that. Fine. But at least you're not there at the bottom or the middle end of hi-fi, looking through all these brands, trying to match it up and all of that. It's just okay. Some people like that, but I find it extremely frustrating, because there's so many pickup combinations with so many RIAs on the market that react so different with so many amps. I found out at a too late stage that it's just best going with one brand. If you can have one brand on the entire LP part of your system, if you can have it on your amp, inside your amp, on the phono section, tone up, pickup, LP platform, motor, all of that. If you can have that in one brand, you usually have a more integrated, balanced sound, and then you can access it, and then you can just go deep into the detail. See what happens with a lot of gear when you start pairing it. Let's just say that you choose some kind of clear audio or project LP setup. You get that. You buy a separate brand pickup. It has a slightly different sound. Well, you buy a rear, which is a different brand with a slightly different sound. Now you have like 3 types of sounds. They have to integrate with your amp that maybe is a different brand, and a speaker that is a different brand. It kind of gives you a overlaying detail effects. It can sound good, you can be lucky, you can save a lot of money. I mean, you of course decide whatever you do. I'm just telling you guys, it's very predictable what's going to happen if you kind of go through the statistics of it and look at what people generally are doing, what's generally in the stores, what are the most popular pickups, LP players out there. It's just, you just quickly hit a wall, and then the money stops you because you can't really, proceed in the direction that you want to go. So what I found out too late was just use a tiny bit of more money in the start, settle with one brand, and do it the way that I am telling here. But you of course decide whatever you want to do. And this is what I found out after many, many years, is that I recommend starting around $100 for an LP setup. That's just for the player. And then maybe $100 for the rear. And then you get to listen to LP, and fine, maybe you like that, keep it, good. But if you want to go to a gigantic step forward where you feel like this is giving you something that will really last you a lot of time, where you don't have to mess around with the whole thing, then I suggest getting into around the $1,500 range. That is where you feel like you're entering a zone of stuff, being pretty good and will last for quite a while. Now, if you want something that feels like it's going to be the best, usually I find that just for the LP player, not the rear, I find that it is around $10,000. It probably sounds like a lot to you. It is a lot for me. I only own, I only earn a normal wage, like probably you watching this video. So, I had to learn it the hard way, sell a lot of equipment that I had found out I didn't like, and then in the end settle with something that was only like, what did it cost me? Like $5,000 in the end, and I'm still not quite there. I've heard what I need to hear of LP equipment that is good, and I am getting this in the future, the Audio Note TT2 Signature with the IQ3 pickup, and I'm going to settle with that. I'm not going to go with the TT3. I just don't have the money, but I really want to. But I'm just going to settle with this. And the great thing about this is that it has like the glass bottom thing that covers it, so it's going to handle a lot of reflections. When you have this, you don't have a glass thing covering it, so I mean, if you're close to a wall and it sends reflections back to it, it's of course a minus. So I actually recommend this more than this for a lot of people, because people who have this level of detail will have to have a pretty good setup in order for it not to reveal too much bad going on in your system. So yeah. So you want to feel as if every time you're putting a record on that it's going to surprise you in a positive way, and that you will never really consider upgrading it, and that won't be noise issues. There's so many players that are either covering up the sound, parking it in a safe zone, or it's giving you this loop effect, a bit like Ben's pickups, and it's just going noise, 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 noise. And that's really annoying. It's kind of a hidden enemy in the whole LP world is just controlling the noise levels. It's really difficult, because how do you control the noise levels while still giving you maximal detail without suppressing the sound? It's very, very difficult finding proper gear that does that. So yeah, like I said before with this here. So that basically covers everything. What you're looking at here is the pinnacle of LP sound, the stuff that gives you the best. And I mean, you could of course think maybe I should change these like kind of basic arms, because you can get some tone arms that are a lot more expensive, a lot better, and pickups that are a lot better. But I would say generally no, don't do that. That's probably like the last thing you want to do in your system. Everything has to basically be perfect. And if you have the money, then one day, then yeah, get something better than an IQ3. Maybe some of the top models from Audio Note, but you know, IQ3 is going to make basically all people in the world very, very happy. And I wouldn't really suggest any other pickup than that. And it works really good with a basic Maishu that has a phono stage. And just put that, connect this thing to that, and then you've got like a standard, you know, $50,000 vinyl setup. Once you've got that paired, and just like, you know, forget about most of the other things on the market. I mean they do some interesting things, but they're just so limited and boring and gray and predictable, and it just kind of value wise, you could just, you know, waste a lot of time on that, especially going with stuff like VPI. Technics also boring. Rega, yeah, better than usual. Dual, yeah, okay. Avid, yeah, all in the analytical, interesting type of sound, very revealing, cool designs. Make a very cool, interesting sound. So if you're like into the whole Negra setup thing and spectral and like top transistor brands, you might want to, you know, consider looking at this brand here. But again, you know, naturality, organicness, that full grunt smash effect, you're not really gonna have that with that brand, even though that this brand is probably one of the like top 10 brands, vinyl brands on the market. It just, in the end, it's a bit analytical. So yeah, something for you guys to kind of figure out. So pretty difficult making vinyl work at a high level. Most people will just have to settle with a basic vinyl sound. Yeah, something to think about. You know, these are the secrets that no one really tells you about. People just think generally that, oh, I need some big platter stuff, and then one engine is good enough. And nope, it really isn't, because a lot of those big platter designs, they just don't have that smash effect, that coupling, that full focus and grunt. It sounds good, it sounds cool, has this like retro, laid back, controlled sound, and yes, it gets a hell of a lot better than going from like a you know, like a basic dual thing to, I don't know, what do we have here? Like a bigger VPI one, or over to the hardcore stuff like an Amazon Audio type of thing. You know, it gets a hell of a lot better. And Scar, whatever they call, also makes some pretty deep platter stuff. But trust me, you know, value wise, I think my opinion is that it's throwing a lot of money out of the window, and you're kind of going for that reserved sound effect, a bit like with Macintosh, and you know, by all means, if you're into that Macintosh kind of thing, that you probably want, you know, those big platter setups, long arms, single motor things that cost a lot, you know. I mean, that is an interesting type of sound, but just thinking forward, you know, would you want to listen to that like reserved, slightly reserved, nice rolled back sound for many years? Can you really listen to that? I can't, you know. I found out throughout the years that, you know, I just needed something that was fully convincing, fully released, not being suppressed and niceified, whatever you call it, you know, just something that feels like it's releasing with full power, but not that it's harsh or analytical or biased or anything. It just has that full grunt that is so rare within the vinyl world. So yeah, very interesting thoughts there, and I hope you guys can figure it out, because the vinyl game is pretty difficult to figure out, but hopefully this helps. Have a nice day.